Greetings, my friends. Jimmer Lins here with your Source Filmmaker Tip of the Day. Today is Tip of the Day number 53. As always, thanks for tuning in, for subscribing, and for all the great feedback. In today's Tip of the Day, I'm going to show you how to create an effect. I'm sure it has a regular name, but I call it the scare zoom, and it's the kind of thing that you will see in a lot of long shots in horror films and the like, where the background is changing while the subject of the shot, usually a person, remains in the field of view. And to demonstrate, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here with this spy that I've spawned. This works best when you have two cameras or two viewports. In this case, I've got the work camera on the left and my scene camera on the right. I'm going to press Control and click the scene camera just to make sure that I have cloned the scene camera to the work camera so that they are identical, and as you can see, they are. And you're going to want the same settings for both, and that's going to be important because I'm going to use the one on the left as a reference for the one on the right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the graph editor. I'm going to have this camera selected. I'm going to hit M to mark this thing, and notice that I've set the key mode here to linear, and I did that for this particular thing because it'll help create better keyframes, but you're going to want to set that back to your preference. It's usually going to be setting it to spline when you're done. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we've got the camera here, and if I press play, okay, good deal. Now if I go and move forward to say about 5 seconds, because I'm going to want that effect to take place over 5 seconds, right now the camera is at 105 millimeters, which is very, very highly zoomed in, and I'm going to set it to about 17 millimeters. He said, why isn't it doing anything? Oh, helps if I actually have the camera selected there. Okay, so by setting it to 17 millimeters, now the camera zooms out over the course of 5 seconds. And the actual camera position didn't change, just the field of view did. So that shows us a much larger segment of the scene. Now what I want to do is I want to compensate for this by bringing the camera in. So I'm just going to put the playhead here again in the same place. And I'm just going to click and hold, and I'm just going to use I'm going to try to avoid shifting the camera at all. I'm just going to move in, straight in, just by pressing the W key on my keyboard until the spy's head is approximately in the same location. And, you know, he's looking a little distorted, so I think I'm going to go with 24 millimeters. It's always going to produce this effect, and you can actually... some people, you might want to actually take advantage of that. That's up to you. But now when I go to look at this, the scene zooms out, the field of view changes, and you get that sort of what I call the scare zoom effect. And of course, you can do it the other way around. If I reversed it, I would produce an effect like that, which I'm just kind of demonstrating by reversing this. Now, if you notice also, the relative size of the spy kind of changes a little bit because the camera's movement is not perfectly lined up with the motion of the field of view changing. So to offset that a little bit, you can do things like adjust the curve of the animation a bit to get you where you want, or you can do additional keyframes. Let's see so it moves out a little bit right there. So if I do this, and I want it to be just a little bit faster. And since this isn't perfectly on XY, I have to adjust it in 2 planes. Okay, and you can see here on the left as I do this that the animation line, what I'm trying to do is get that green line to be pretty straight like that. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of compensating for the motion. So this is a little better. Actually, I really like that. Notice how it doesn't really change at all. And with a little bit more finagling, I could make that do exactly what I wanted to, and have his head stay exactly the right size. As you can see, it does retreat just a little bit, but that's an interesting effect. Especially if I was to do something like this, you can make it smash in by just dragging the whole animation set and just doing it really fast. And so that's in 2.5 seconds. What happens if I do it in 1 second? So as you can, but because I changed the curves a little bit, it is going to change the way that the animation set is applied. So you're going to want to experiment with it a little bit and adjust the curves a bit to get the right effect. But I think you get the idea. And this is one way that you can play with fields of view and motion of a camera to create interesting visual effects. Somebody needs to tell me what that effect is called, because you see it in a lot of sort of poke in the eye movies or horror films or things like that. And I'm sure there's a name for it that cinematographers use, but not being one, I don't know what it is. I just was tinkering around and was trying to figure out the best way to reproduce the effect, and there you go. So that is your tip of the day, number 53. I am your host, Jim Merlins, and I thank you for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you get a lot out of it. And I will see you tomorrow with the next tip of the day. And in the meantime, enjoy using Source Filmmaker.